Want to continue with our discussion. So in the presence of electric field, an electron will experiences E force with negative sign. Negative sign indicates the force is opposite to the electric field. So this force will be equals to mass into acceleration of the electron. So this is also force, this is also force. So here, from here, you can get acceleration is equals to minus E into E divided by m. That means in the presence of electric field, an electron get accelerated by this value, minus E by m. Why negative sign? Because an electron always accelerated opposite to the direction of the electric field. So this acceleration will be negative here, E by m. And suppose the time interval between this two things, here to here, is suppose t. Initial and the time interval between initial and final velocity is t. So your final velocity will be v initial minus em by tau. Negative sign due to the negative acceleration. Okay. So this is the final velocity of electron between the collisions. It collided with one atom, then it collided with another atom, so its final velocity will change as like this. But the collisions, if you see closely, the collisions are not always the same collisions, because it may collide sometimes very rapidly with an atom, or sometimes it move very long distance and collided with the atom. That means this final velocity will depend upon the time between the two collisions, because sometimes it collided so rapidly, like in very small time amount of time it collided with one atom then to another atom. In that case my final velocity will be smaller. And sometimes it collided after very long time. It collided with one atom, then when it collided with another atom, then time may vary. That means this final velocity will not be constant. So we will take the average of the final velocity. We will take the average of the final velocity. So average of the final velocity will be equals to average of the initial minus average of this quantity. So I have taken the average of both the quantities. So the average final velocity is also known as drift velocity. Now what is the average of the initial velocity? C. The initial velocity after collision is random, because it collided with this atom here, and its initial velocity is towards this direction. After the collision with this atom, its initial velocity will be towards this direction. And again when it collide with this atom, its initial velocity will be in this direction. And again after the collision with this atom, its initial velocity will be towards this direction. So the initial velocity is random. It do not have a preferred direction. That's why the average of the initial velocity will be 0, because it has a random direction. And minus this quantity E by m is a constant quantity, because it is charge, it is mass, and this is field. So only thing we need to take the average of the time. So what is time? Time is the t. What is t? T is the time between the collisions of two atoms. T is the time interval between the two collisions. This, it collided first with this, then it collided with this. So the time interval between the two collisions is t. So this t can be written as minus E by m. This time interval between two collisions can be denoted by the tau, where tau is the average time between two collisions. And it is also known as relaxation time. It is also known as relaxation time. So our drift velocity will be given by the equation minus E by m into tau, where tau is the relaxation time. So this drift velocity, this is the average time between the collision. It is also constant. Electric field is also constant. E is also constant and m is also constant. That's why the drift velocity will be a constant quantity. That means an electron always moved with a constant velocity, or the average velocity, which is Vd, in the presence of electric field. So that is, you need to remember. An electron always moves with a constant velocity in the presence of electric field. An electron always moves with a constant velocity in the presence of electric field, and that constant velocity is known as drift velocity. That constant velocity is known as drift velocity, and it is given by this relation. So this much for today. Thank you.